Good evening and welcome to Coach's Corner with Jay, featuring Seminole head football coach Jay Circosta. Host for Coach's Corner, Lance LaFollette. We'll be right back with Lance and Coach Jay. The Ford Factory clearance sale is going on now at Knowlton Ford Mercury with only a few 95s left and rebates up to $2,000. All 95 demos will be sold. Knowlton's offers low interest rates, award-winning service after the sale, and no high-pressure salespeople. Let Knowlton's know your transportation needs in new and used cars and trucks. Tell them what you're looking for and at what price. They'll do the shopping for you. Call Knowlton Ford Mercury, 472-0783.
Thinking of building, buying, or remodeling? We can help with the cash you need at Woodsfield Savings and Loan, 105 West Court Street. We offer prompt, expert service and make every attempt to avoid red tape. We make it easy to obtain a mortgage loan or to receive a construction loan for the house of your dreams. Come to Woodsfield Savings and Loan for help with your future as we prepare for our future, facility and services. A new location, drive-through convenience and checking, but that same personal attention you've always counted on from Woodsfield Savings and Loan.
At Respect's Food Market, we're proud of all we do. From our humble beginning in Woodsfield in 1929, we've grown to several stores throughout the Ohio Valley. We strive to combine the same small-town friendliness with the buying power of the chain store to give you, our friends and customers, the best of both worlds. And we take pride in our community, its people, and their accomplishments. We're proud to support all county schools and wish the Monroe Central Seminoles the best of luck. We're proud of all we do at Respect's Food Market. And Seminoles, we're proud of you.
Good evening and welcome to Coach's Corner. Got a good show for you this evening. We're going to take a look back at Friday evening's big win over the Shenandoah Zeps. Very successful homecoming for everyone involved. I'm going to take a look ahead at the St. Mary's Devils, this week's opponent, and talk to Cole Harrelson, Nathan Arden, and Jason Ludwig. First, Coach, 62-3. I guess nobody could dream of a win that big over a team that we really expected to give us a little more of a battle.
Yeah, we really didn't expect that. Them coming in 3-3, and they played some good football, much improved as we talked about on the show last week over last year's football team that we had beaten 42-0. And we never expected the score to be that widespread or to be quite that easy. And I maybe shouldn't use the term easy because I think you make a team as tough or as easy as the way you play whenever you come out and start out. We came out and we played pretty well to begin with, and I think that kind of set the tempo for the evening. I want to kind of clear one thing up. I've heard a few people saying, and probably a lot of the ones I haven't heard saying things concerning the score. In my 25 years as a head coach at Woodsfield and Monroe Central, this is the most points that any of our teams have ever scored in any one particular game. And we never have been out to run the score up against anybody. We've never been out to try to see how many points we could score. That's not our goal. Our goal is to win. Our goal is to play good, sound football and play within the rules. And it was one of those things where, and I respect Coach McVeigh and his program and the rest of his coaching staff tremendously at Shenandoah, and I would never do that intentionally to any other coach that I respect as much as Coach McVeigh. It was just one of those things, Lance, and the fact that, we substituted in the first half, if you'll recall, and then we took our first team players out, those people on offense and defense, with almost 8 minutes to go. It was 7-something to go after we scored our last touchdown with the first unit in the third quarter. And our younger kids played the remainder of the game, which is a great experience for them. But it's not often that you'll see the younger kids that have not been used to getting an opportunity to play that much on a Friday night score 3 touchdowns. They scored one on defense and on a pass interception on a great play by Daniel Ludwig, and they scored one on special teams on a punt return by Josh Jones, who did a tremendous job. And then they had a drive going. And the ironic thing about that is that with our younger kids getting in the ball game, and they've got in early the last 3 weeks, this is the first time they've ever sustained a drive and took it down and scored. So very unusual for the younger kids to score 3 touchdowns on your opponent. But that's the way it happened. And like I say, we in no way, shape, or form tried to get that many points, and we're not proud of beating a team that widespread, but that's just the way it happened. It's one of those things that happened, and we really couldn't prevent it. And the fact is, those younger kids practice hard all week, and they deserve a chance to play, and you can't tell them not to play. So hopefully that won't be the case in the future, but I just wanted to kind of set the record straight on that as far as last week.
Well, we discussed several times during game broadcasts that that is a big plus to our program, is that the younger guys do get a lot of action. I've heard talk, and not that much negative talk really about this. As you said, that's their first scores as a reserve group on the varsity level. I can tell you from my standpoint, I don't care if we're ahead 70-0. If I intercept the pass and go down the sideline, I'm not stepping out of bounds and I'm not taking the dive. So, there's just nothing you can do in a situation like that. Nevertheless, that's a big win for us and some valuable points towards the postseason drive.
Yes, Lance, the last couple of weeks, we didn't pick up a lot of points versus Waterford, and this week, the week before that, against Fort Fry, we did pick up a good many points. But we did salvage a few points this past week against Shenandoah because of them having 3 wins, and we hope, and of course a lot of those points are going to cancel out because they play teams in the league now. So, but it did help us somewhat. But the big ones are coming up. If we can continue to win, that will be to our advantage.
Another thing about a big win like Friday evenings, we talked about getting the younger guys in. What that also does is keeps a lot of the first teamers off the field. That can be good, and as far as injuries goes, but that can also possibly get things rusty as far as not getting to work on some things. I noticed early in the ball game we came out on first down in a shotgun formation and tried to work on a few different things. As we said, 28-0 at halftime, you don't have a lot of chance to work on things. Is this a concern?
It is, and that, as you mentioned, that kind of works both ways. The fact that the older kids, if you look at in the Fort Fry game, we had a big lead, and we got our older kids or our starters out early and let the younger kids have some playing time. And then the week after that versus Waterford, the same thing happened in those games. And also this past week, the first string starters probably only played about a half or just a little over a half of ball game. And that, as you say, can work to your advantage and to your disadvantage. You sometimes keep yourself healthy, but on the other hand, when you don't get a lot of playing time, you can get a little bit rusty, and you don't get an opportunity to get that many snaps on either side of the ball, and that does sometimes have an effect on your play. But these young men have responded real well. And the nice thing about it is the older guys that are usually the starters, when they come out, I never hear any of them say anything about wanting to go back in. I know they want to go back in, but as I mentioned earlier, we feel that the younger guys deserve the opportunity to play, and that gives them good, valuable game experience. So that kind of helps you on in a couple different ways, but it may even hurt you a little bit. But we're hoping, and we know that the older guys are going to get a test. We had a couple close ones at the beginning of the year. We were wondering whether we were ever going to get to that point where we'd have an opportunity to get some of the young guys in, and the last few weeks we have. So who knows what lies in store for us ahead. We know we got some tough ones coming up.
That's for sure. We have, this football, it's a team game, yet everyone seems to be interested in statistics and individual statistics, and they always look at that on Saturday mornings. That's one place where you can sure tell, as far as our offense goes, that for one thing, we're not piling on points. Our first teamers, Luke, 12, 13 carries normally. Dustin around the same. Joe Kress, who's having just a phenomenal year passing, doesn't get to throw more than 5, 6, 7 passes a game. So, that's something that, numbers don't always tell the story, and the other evening was a perfect example.
Now, you can imagine what kind of numbers those young men would have if those running backs would be getting like 20-some carries a game, and Joe getting the opportunity to throw the football a lot more, and our receivers getting an opportunity to catch the ball a lot more. And that's why sometimes, people say, well, should take the older kids out a lot earlier. Well, they deserve an opportunity to play too. And it's kind of cheating them when they. So there's kind of a fine line there, but there again, we feel that we need to do what we have to do to get it done. And as you mentioned earlier, it allows us sometimes when they're in there to work on some things, but when they're not in there, it doesn't allow us, like you mentioned about working on the shotgun formation, which is something that we wanted to do, and we haven't had an opportunity to do it up until this past week. We got an opportunity to do that. So it gives you an opportunity to take a look at some things that you haven't been able to work on, only been in practice under a game situation.
We're going to take a short break and come back with Cole Harrelson.
The F.W. Shoemaker Insurance Agency was established in 1903. They have 3 agents and 3 customer service representatives to give you the kind of service you deserve. Being an independent insurance agency means they represent different companies, allowing them to compare for you. For all of your insurance needs, auto, home, life, bonds, business, or farms, contact F.W. Shoemaker Insurance Agency at 472-0876.
These days, it seems like everyone is looking for a bargain. You can spend a lot of time shopping for high quality and low prices, even for gasoline. Red Hat in Woodsfield has 100% pure gasoline at low, low prices. While you're there, save on car care products, including oil, fluids, additives, and more. Soft drinks are discounted every day at the Red Hat. Stock up on your favorite pop and snacks. Even Fido gets a break with Champion dog food at big, big savings. So stop at the Red Hat today and save.
For almost any size job, the area's most extensive fastener display is at Ager Hardware. Small engine belts in all sizes, too. And it's that time of the year for organ chains and bars and, of course, hunting licenses, shells, and accessories. Home improvements are easy with the large inventory of electrical and plumbing supplies and standard bathroom fixtures. A full line of kitchen and laundry appliances are always in stock. Custom paints for interior and exterior fall fix-ups. Special services, screen repair, and glass cutting. Car wax and car care products, bikes of all kinds, and just arrived vent-free and kerosene heaters. Eggers, much more than a hardware store.
We're back. Tonight's first guest is Cole Harrelson. Cole, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Lance.
Cole is a senior wide receiver, defensive back, number 84. Cole out for his 4th year and has been seeing a lot more action this year. Both sides of the ball coming in, spot substitutions. Cole, things seem to be coming around for you pretty well. Are you pretty comfortable with playing both ways?
Yeah, Lance, I'm pretty familiar with the program. After 4 years, a lot of hard work and everything. So, I don't know if Coach calls my number, ready to go.
Do you have a preference as far as offense, defense? What side you'd rather be on?
I'd rather be on offense because if you screw up on defense, it's a lot more noticeable. And
that's for sure.
Yeah.
Hate to get burnt by someone that is, like you said, real noticeable. Coach?
Well, Cole, as he mentioned, has been around the program and is very familiar with the program. It's unfortunate that Cole is in a position that he is in the fact that he is a wide receiver, and we've got a wide receiver the caliber of Keith Lazier, who's a starting wide receiver, and Keith has, as everybody knows, excellent hands and has really come around. But I've noticed a tremendous amount of improvement as far as Cole is concerned just in the last 4 or 5 weeks as far as his ability to catch the ball. And like I said, he hasn't got the opportunity to even, catch the ball because it seems as though, and as you mentioned earlier, in crunch time, we're going to Keith, and then a lot of times there at the end we've already got a pretty big lead and we're not throwing the ball a lot, so he doesn't get an opportunity. But he has always done a nice job as far as he's very dependable and reliable, and he's given everything he's had as far as practice is concerned. And I have to also say this, that Cole put forth an effort in the off season, came in and lifted weights and got himself prepared for the season and showed a lot of dedication. That shows a lot as far as the type of character that he has, and he's always been very coachable and just basically has done what we've asked him to do. And hopefully maybe in the last few games maybe we can get an opportunity to throw him the ball a little bit. Hopefully he can get a few catches. this being his senior year, it has been a pleasure to have Cole around. And on this defensive side of the ball, the same thing is true. He hasn't got a lot of opportunity to play defensively. We're trying to get him in on some special teams, and I think we've had an opportunity to get him in more and more as the season's progressed. But again, he's been a very coachable young man. It's been a pleasure to work with over the last 4 years, and he's had a great attitude.
That's for sure. I've been close friend to Cole since he was just a little guy, and it's always been a lot of fun to be around. You just can't have too many guys with the type of attitude that he has. You can't have too many of those on the ball team. That really helps things out. Cole, I want to thank you for being on. Wish you luck this week, and hope things go up for you.
All right. Thanks a lot, Lance.
Good luck.
Thanks.
We're going to be right back and talk with Nathan Arden.
Just like the Monroe Central Criminals, we can be a winner at Loveday Motors.
Win big with Loveday's large selection of new or used cars, trucks, and vans. Win big with service after the sale. Loveday's in Woodsfield takes pride in their community and in their dedication to serving you.
Be a winner at Loveday Motors.
We're back with senior wide receiver and defensive end Nathan Arden. Nathan, we had a chance to talk a little bit earlier and discussed the fact that this is your first opportunity to play football in your life. What made you decide to come out?
Well, when I was at school, I would hang around with all these guys, and they told me what kind of a program they had here at Monroe Central, and they said it was a lot of fun, and I thought, well, it'd be a nice experience to come out for a team.
Well, I've been to several of the JV ball games this year. You're playing wide receiver basically on a full-time basis there, and I believe someone had mentioned that you have 8 touchdown catches so far.
Yeah.
Was wide receiver something you wanted to play, or is that?
Yeah, that was the position that I wanted the most, and those touchdowns, you can't catch them without a good quarterback, and Jason Ludwig always seemed to get them right into my numbers where I could catch them.
We'll get a chance to talk to Jason here in a little bit, so we'll put him on the spot there too. Coach, as we mentioned, Nathan doing a real nice job catching the ball. We've talked earlier about it's a shame that we don't get a chance to have him around another year or two more.
That's very true, Lance. It's been a pleasure to have Nathan as a part of our program this year, and as you mentioned, wish we'd have had him for a couple, 3 years previous, or had him for a couple more years to come, because he's just now starting to come into his own. And he too, like Cole, is in an unfortunate position as a split end to be behind, again, Keith Lazier, who is the starting split end. That's a natural position as I saw it for Nathan to be a split end. And at the beginning of the year, back in the early practices, him, like Manoa Geese, in an unfamiliar position, were trying to learn the offense and trying to concentrate on what to do, and they did not catch the football real well. But I've noticed since he's got familiar with the offense that he has made tremendous improvement as far as catching the ball. There's not too many times that he drops the football now. As you mentioned, he's done a tremendous job in the reserve games, catching those touchdown passes and coming up some big catches. We normally don't have our seniors play in the reserve competition, but being that this was Nathan's first year out for football and he wasn't getting a lot of playing time on Friday night in the varsity games, we felt that this would be a great experience for him. And I think that's one of the things that's allowed him to improve and come on with that experience under game conditions against another opponent. But, just like Cole and a lot of the other guys on the team, I know he hasn't gotten as much playing time on the varsity level on Friday nights as he'd like to have, either offensively or defensively, but he has contributed heavily to our squad this year, and just a fine young man to have around. Again, he doesn't complain about the time that he doesn't get to play. He just does whatever we ask him, and I just wish that we had Nathan around for a few more years, because I can just imagine what kind of a football player or receiver that he'd blossom into with a couple more years' experience. But it has been a pleasure to have him be with us this year.
We look back at last year over at Cambridge, and we made mention of this earlier in the year during the state playoffs. Keith Lazier at that time really turned into a key factor in that ball game, and we hadn't heard much from Keith all year long up to that point. So it's nice to have two people like Cole and Nathan sitting there. They're getting the experience, and you just never know when someone's going to step in there and do the job like Keith did. And so sort of nice to have three senior wide receivers on your ball team.
We're definitely deep at that position, and like I said, these guys can catch the football, and they give you everything they have week in and week out. And the fact is that I don't think between the three of our wide receivers that they say much of anything. You never hear them say anything one way or the other. They just go out and play and get better every week.
Wide receivers are like that.
Yeah, Lance, when you played, you were like that too. I probably didn't look at you at that time as ever being a host on this show, because you didn't say much either, but you made up a lot of ground on the field in the way you caught the football.
Appreciate the plug there. Nathan, good luck this week. Keep up the good work, and like we said, you never know. We're going to take a quick break and come back and talk with Jason Ludwig.
You already know that Woodsfield Ashland has 100% pure gasoline along with kerosene and diesel fuel. And you know about Kirk's homemade ice cream available in more than 27 flavors. And about their great pizza. Call ahead at 472-1745 to order your pizza to eat before or after the game. But did you know that Ashland's the place for fantastic hamburgers cooked in just 45 seconds? Now that's fast food. And for dessert, top it off with Southern shaved ice in lots of flavors. For ice cream, pizza, hamburgers, or Southern Snow, go to the Ashland right now. They're open till 11:30 Monday through Saturday until 10 on Sunday.
We're back with sophomore defensive back and backup quarterback Jason Ludwig. Welcome to the show, Jason.
Thanks.
Jason worked his way into a starting position this year on that defensive side of the ball just basically in the last couple weeks. Is that something you're pretty comfortable with, Jason?
Yeah, I've been working hard all beginning of the season. I wanted that position at the beginning of the season, and I really worked my butt off to get that. And Kramer was there, and he went to defensive end. So I've earned my position in corner, and we're trying to keep it.
Well, you stepped in there last year as a freshman a time or two, and I believe you had a couple interceptions last year, and you've been able to get a couple this year. So it's nice that we have the luxury of being able to put you back there. Keep up the good work. From the offensive side of the ball, as we mentioned time and time again, Joe Crest just doing an excellent job. As far as the backup goes, how ready would you be to go in if called on an emergency?
Well, I've been getting a lot of work in at practice, the quarterback. If like Joe ever gets hurt or anything, I'm ready to go.
Okay, well, we've seen you throw the ball several times over the last couple of years. As we mentioned, not a lot of chances to throw the ball when it's late in the game, and we have a lead like that. But when you do throw it, you've done a nice job. So keep up the good work. Coach?
Well, as you mentioned, Lance, if people have noticed the last several weeks, we put Jason in, and he's moved into a starting position in the secondary at a corner position, and we talked about that for several weeks, and we felt that we could make our football team stronger by inserting Eric Kramer in at the defensive end where his brother Jeremy played, and he would give us maybe a little more pass rush and do some things at that defensive end position that we needed to have to be stronger defensively up front. So that opened up the position at corner in the secondary, and Jason's been working, as he mentioned, real hard, not only in practice during the season, but real hard in preseason. He just worked real hard to try to get in position to play one of those corners, and that's exactly what he's done. And we hope that with each game he becomes a little more comfortable with that position and continues to do the type of job that we're looking for him to do there. He has nice size. He got a lot bigger from last year and to this year, and we're hoping that that'll help pay off. As far as the offense is concerned, we would like to get him in a little more in practice, but our practice times are extremely limited, and we don't have a lot of time to spend on offense. And as far as the number of snaps that we get every night, but when he has gone in with the older group, he's done a real nice job, and that's a big transition when you're running with a second group or reserve group, which he's been quarterbacking on Monday nights and done a real good job. And you get in, it seems like everything's at a faster pace on the varsity level with the older guys, and that's something he has to adjust to, and that transition is not always easy, but he's done a real nice job. And one thing that I've been impressed with Jason more than anything else is that I know he's gotten bigger, but his arm has gotten much stronger, and he can throw the ball much farther this year than what he could last year. We've been working a lot and continually reminding him about his form and technique, and I think you're going to see this young man blossom into a real nice quarterback with the more experience he gets, and we hope that he continues to do a nice job on defense for us, because we're coming up in these last 3 games against 3 good quarterbacks, and the quarterback from St. Mary's, also the quarterback from Frontier and Bellsville, so he's going to get a real good test in that secondary.
How much heat did you take over the fact that Daniel had a touchdown last week? Basically first action back there in a while.
Well, I played the whole game, and I've been waiting to get an interception. He goes in for one series and intercepts one, takes it for a touchdown.
Showed a lot of speed there, didn't he, Jason?
Well, he did. You thought he was chasing him in the backyard the way he was going down the sideline. We're going to take a quick break, come back and look at some highlights of the game Friday evening. Should be several highlights. Be right back.
The weather's getting cooler, but you still have time to take advantage of True Test Weather All House Paint, now on sale at Woodsfield True Value. And the bargain of the month is True Test Satin Latex Enamel for just $8.88, a scrubbable finish at our lowest price ever. True Test Easy Care paints are also on sale. Remember, you have over 1,000 colors to choose from. Lots of other fall specials for indoors and outdoors are waiting for you now at Woodsfield True Value, where help is just around the corner. Sale ends October 21st. Let Swiss Lands Realty help you find what you need. A beautifully landscaped lawn surrounds this house in Woodsfield. The property is on 2 lots and has a huge 2-stall garage. Inside, this 3-bedroom ranch has 2.5 baths, a large living room, kitchen dining area, a storage room, and a utility room. New cool vent windows and new doors, another big plus. Beautifully maintained, this home is ready for you to unlock the door and move in. We take listings on all types of property at Swiss Lands Realty, 472-0614.
Dustin Robinson sets the tone early with a big stick on the game's second play.
Yeah, him and Luke do a real nice job defensively here. They try to go Ralph Cobb to the short man, Denis. They're wide out right here, and we react real well, Dustin and Luke, and there's hardly any gain on that play. Real good defensive play by those 2 young men.
Here, the Seminoles' front line gets a nice push and pass rush.
This is one thing we felt we needed to do to be successful in stopping their offense, is get heat on the quarterback. And here Sam crawls in low, and Chris also gets in there, and we got nice heat, and that makes a big difference.
Luke Shoemaker picks up big yardage early.
Here out of a spread formation with Lazier to one side and Minogue Geese to the other side, Dustin comes in motion. We give him a little quick trap, and Luke cuts it back to the outside, picks up big yardage. You get to start off real good on offense.
Dustin Robinson runs for the first of his 3 touchdowns.
After setting up the inside belly here, we come back with the outside belly, and Dustin goes in virtually untouched.
Luke Shoemaker sets up the Seminoles' next score with a nice interception in return.
You hear Ralph Cobb, Shenandoah's quarterback, throws into a lot of traffic. We have a lot of people around the receiver. Luke steps in front, picks it off, picks up a nice return here, just about breaks it all the way for a touchdown.
Coach, here's that shotgun formation we mentioned earlier.
Yeah, do a real nice job here. Joe sits right in the pocket. Keith runs a nice square in there, and good pass and catch combination.
Back on defense now. Here we get a lot of pressure on the quarterback again.
Yeah, this is what we were talking about before, and here again, Chris Nimmerling does a real nice job. He comes in hard from the outside and puts a lot of pressure, gets some help from Jamie Boer there to keep them from throwing the football with something they like to do.
Dustin Robinson scores his second touchdown, this time from 61 yards out.
Here they're real conscious of Luke inside, and we fake to him and give the ball on the outside belly again to Dustin. Big hole off the right side, and he does the rest by taking it on in for a touch.
Here's a different looking play for the conversion.
Yeah, this is the old polecat formation. We put a lot of people out to the right, end up throwing back to our center, who is Eric Kramer, and he makes a nice catch there. He was closely guarded, but Joe got it into him. He made a great catch for 2 points.
Joe Kress looks up with Manoah Geese for a nice game.
Yeah, here Joe and Manoah do a real nice job, and the fact that Joe makes the fake to Will, and then he waits. In fact, you saw him take a little pump fake there until Manoah cleared. Manoah made an exceptional catch here. The ball was low down around the ground. Great play there by both Joe and Manoah.
Luke Shoemaker takes off on another long run.
Another inside trap here, and Luke gets in the hole quick. Nice trap block by Jamie Boer, and he takes it right up the gut and does a real nice job here.
Will Weddle makes a nice run around left end.
Yeah, here out of the wishbone, formation, Will does a nice job bouncing it outside, and gives a lot of second effort right there. Picks up an extra 3 or 4 yards.
Luke Shoemaker goes over the right side for another Seminole touchdown.
The old standby power right, power formation play here, and Luke takes it on in for a touchdown.
Keith Lazier reads the screen pretty well here, Coach.
Yeah, it does a real nice job. They look back and throw the screen outside to Daniel Fish, and Keith's right there. They got a good read on Daniel and made a nice tackle.
Coach, we're going to share back-to-back plays here where Eric Kramer comes up and makes some jarring tackles.
Earlier in the show, we talked about why we moved Eric to defensive end. You'll see right here why. Right here, great defensive play right here. Nice stick, punish the runner, and that's exactly what we want to see out of our defensive end. And it's almost, the next one looks like an instant replay because he comes up, they try to run to the same side, and Eric comes up big again, makes another fine tackle here, and that's why we moved him to defensive end, because he can supply us with those kinds of hits and also get pressure on the quarterback, which I hope we'll see happen later on as the year progresses. You'll see they try to go to that left side again, their left, and Eric will come in and make a big stop right here. They actually run a reverse, and they bring Dinas around, and Eric's right there to make this, the jolt. Great defensive hit.
Joe Kress picks up nice yardage on the option.
This is a lead option to this side. We got Luke coming out. Joe does a nice job as things open up right here. And I don't know what this little hop step right there was, but Joe took a little hit, but he come up with a big play there.
Dustin Robinson scores his third touchdown of the half.
After setting this touchdown up with a couple nice runs, Dustin takes the quick toss here and gets himself into the end zone by diving over top of a Shenandoah defender.
This play, Luke Shoemaker separates the receiver from the ball.
Yeah, this is a little bit controversial, Lance. Luke does a nice job, gets another one of his big hits. I really think that he had possession of the ball and Luke jarred it loose. You'll see alert Rob Trigg pick the ball up and start to take it down toward their goal line until the whistle blew.
Joe Kress hooks up with Eric Kramer for a completion.
Here out of the slot I formation, Eric from the slot back position will slide out. Joe kind of steps to the outside, dumps the ball off, And then Eric does a nice job eluding a couple tacklers and taking it upfield.
Here the line opens up a nice hole to allow Luke Shoemaker to pick up his second touchdown.
A little counter-action play here, pulling the backside guard and tackle. They both do a real nice job blocking, and Luke takes it right up in for a touch.
Here the Crest-to-Laser combination works again.
Yeah, they do a real nice job here. Keith takes it deep, and Joe gives a little pump fake and lays the ball out there, a nice spiral right in the hands of Keith, and he does the rest, takes it on in for a touchdown.
Jason Ludwig does a nice job staying home on defense.
Yeah, they try a little razzle-dazzle here, handed the ball off and then pitched it back to their quarterback, and he threw the ball. But we had two people in the area, and Jason jumps up and deflects the ball away. Nice defensive effort on his part.
Coming up here's the first of several fine plays by freshman Josh Jones.
Here Josh shows a lot of promise as a freshman. Takes it right up the middle, kind of sidesteps a couple people, steps over somebody, and does a real nice job of running.
Some fourth quarter highlights now. Josh Jones, another nice run.
Yeah, Josh takes it off the left side here on the power, bounces it outside, shows some speed, and I thought he was going to get in here, but he got down close.
Here Jones goes in for the score.
After that previous nice play, only fitting that Josh would, on the same play, take it inside and take it in for a touchdown.
Daniel Ludwig's off to the races with this interception.
Here again, out of the trips formation to their right, we get pressure on the quarterback. Nice hit there on the backside, and Daniel steps up and makes a big play and shows some speed and shakes a tackler and takes it on in for a big touchdown. Great play by Daniel.
Josh Jones runs this punt back 73 yards for our final score.
Yeah, real fine punt return here by Josh. He picks the ball up on the bounce, comes this way, stops, cuts back, eludes several tacklers right here, picks up a couple blocks, takes it on to the outside and into the wall, and uses his last blocker effectively right here, John Shoemaker, and cuts back and takes it on in for a touchdown. It's a great run for a freshman.
Kids, we're going to let the tape roll here. Take a look at the Seminole sidelines. I believe this would make the score 13-2 for you against Spaz.
Yeah, we catch Spaz and a little Spaz attack right there, but it is nice to see the older guys get excited for the younger guys.
Freshman running back Josh Woodby picks up some nice yards.
Yeah, Josh shows a lot of spunk here, turn it back inside as we teach him to do, and he doesn't go down easy and picks up a nice gain.
Here another freshman, Ben Miller, picks up some nice yardage.
Yeah, Ben does a real good job here too, taking it upfield and showing a little quickness in there, and does a nice job, gets a nice gain.
We're going to take a short time out, come back and take a look at the St. Mary's Devils.
At West 78 Auto Sales, we'll take anything on trade. Well, almost anything. If you're looking for a used car to fit your budget, West 78 Auto can fix you right up. Stop by and ask Dale about our financing. You buy here, you pay here. And on your way to or from the car lot, why not have a bite to eat at Hometown Restaurant, where home cooking is just like Grandma used to make. The mashed potatoes are real, the gravy doesn't come from a jar, and the homemade soup simmers to perfection. West 78 Auto at Hometown Restaurant in Woodsfield. Woodwood Drugs is your locally owned full-service discount price drugstore. Call 472-0417 for 24-hour emergency service. We'll be here for you. Delivery and mail-out services are available. We stock wheelchairs, hospital beds, canes, crutches, and other accessories. Retirees ask Joe or Tom about our hassle-free Aetna prescription service. As a leader chain store, we bring you bargain prices on an assortment of products every month. Don't forget to bring us your photo finishing with 24-hour service. Woodwood Drugs, people you know and people you can trust with your health.
Welcome back to our show. Coach, this week's opponent, the St. Mary's Devils, not real familiar with most of our fans, I'm sure. What I can tell you about St. Mary's, they were 9-1 last year during the regular season and did make it into the playoffs. How are things faring so far this year for them?
Well, right now they are 1-6, Lance. They haven't experienced the success I think that they felt they would experience, even though they knew they were young and graduated a lot from last year's real fine ball club. But they've had several things happen down there that I think has been difficult for them to cope with. Number one, they had key injury to one of their key football players this year in preseason drills. They lost their big gun as far as one of their receivers, and that's their tight end, James Taylor. And he was billed as a Division I prospect. He went down with a knee injury early on and did not get to play the first half of the season. Just came back, I believe it was last week or possibly the week before last, so we're going to get a look at him, and he's a top-notch player. They also lost their head coach about the third week into the season, so that after he resigned, that kind of threw a kink into things, and they had to kind of regroup a little bit. But I'll tell you what, when you look at the tape of St. Mary's, it's hard for me to believe they've only won one ball game, because they have some kids that are performers, and they have some kids that I just don't see how they haven't won more than one ball game. They have a quarterback that can throw the football, and they got some other kids that it's just hard to believe that they're 1-6. But we'll have to be geared up and ready to play football when we get down there. It is a new opponent, somebody that we haven't played before, and so we're looking forward to a tough contest.
Well, with the fact that they're 1-6, it I'm sure puts us into another situation where there's not a lot of points to be gained, but also a situation where you have to pick up what points are there. We can't afford a letdown. And looking at some of the scores from previous games, they've been in some ball games, and it looks like they've played some teams pretty tough.
Yeah, they like I say, they're 1-6. They opened up the season with a loss to Ritchie County, who has a very strong football team. I think they're either undefeated or maybe just lost one ball game. And they came back in the second week and lost to Frontier, another excellent football team that we'll be facing next week. They lost to them 38-12. And then they got their only win of the year in the third game, an 18-6 victory over Marietta, who's a Division I school. The next week they had one of our common opponents, and that was Tulsa. They lost to Tulsa down at Tulsa 48-14. The following week they had a shootout with Williamstown, lost that game 35-29, but sure they would give up a few points, but they also would score a few points. And then the last 2 weeks they haven't scored a lot on offense, but they've allowed some points on defense. They lost to Ravenswood 34-7 this past week. They lost to Wheeling Central 24-0. So they have at times shown some promise. I just think that they haven't been able to get it all together. In fact, a good example of that is last week. They probably had as much total offense as what Wheeling Central did, but when they got down in the red zone, the scoring zone, they couldn't get it in the end zone, so they didn't come up with any points to show for it.
You mentioned earlier Taylor, their big gun as far as tight end. What other skill position players do they have back? Any? Or?
Yes, they do. In fact, like I said, when I look at this quarterback, number 9, Sean Smith, he has got an excellent arm, throws the ball. In fact, probably sometimes maybe a little bit too hard. He's had a lot of passes that I've seen dropped by his receivers. But now that they have Taylor back as a key receiver, we look for him to go to him. But Smith has a great arm. In fact, he leads the area down there in the Marietta-Parkersburg area as far as passing is concerned. He's passed for over 800 yards this year. So that tells you right there, even though they don't have a winning record, we'll have to be concerned about him. They also have another young man in the backfield, number 23, Rob Wilson, who rushed for over 1,000 yards in both his sophomore and junior year. And they were looking for him to go over 1,000 yards for the third straight year this year. And as a result of their misfortune, he hasn't gone over 1,000 yards, but he has over 500, close to 600 yards rushing. So they have some kids that can do it on both sides of the ball. Number 44, tight end and linebacker, the young man filling in for Taylor when he was injured, number 44, Jay Gerber, is a good player both on offense and on defense. So, we look for a difficult challenge from St. Mary's.
As far as our health standpoint goes, things seem to be looking up for us, and then we have a fluke, a spider bite, I believe, last week. Anything crawling around this week, or how do we look?
Well, I'm kind of afraid to say, Lance. It's about the time you say you're okay and you're healthy, then something flukish comes up like that, then you get somebody either sick last week going into the game, and it didn't happen until about Tuesday or Wednesday. But we had several kids that came up and weren't feeling real good. Will Weddle had a ear infection in both ears, and he was unable to practice all week, and but one day, and then Spaz came up with a spider bite and had some blood poisoning his leg, and we didn't know until the last minute whether he would be able to play. And then Sam Scott wasn't feeling up to snuff. He had a infected wisdom tooth, and so hopefully we're okay this week, and we'll have everybody ready to go 100%.
Okay. Well, we're going to take a quick break, come back, and wrap things up.
Most of us don't spend a lot of time thinking about septic service until we really need it. Sparky Septic Service is there when you need them with liquid waste removal, septic tank cleaning, or portable toilets. Sparky serves Eastern Ohio and the Northern Panhandle. When you need portable toilets for special events, call them at 472-0525. Remember their motto, in our business, a flush beats a full house. Westcott Hair Fashion's newly named but the same in advanced high-tech hair care products and services. Westcott is staffed with 10 highly qualified technicians to serve their clients' different needs. Products sold only in the finest salons include Nexus, Paul Mitchell, Brocado, each with a money-back guarantee. To keep that healthy look all year round, 2 Wolf tanning beds along with the best tanning and skincare products. Call 472-5350 today to get a new you and a new name, Westcott Hair Fashions.
Coach, just a few more things before we go this evening. First of all, as we mentioned, and we've been going over St. Mary's, this Friday's opponent, 7:30 kickoff. For anyone interested in directions to St. Mary's, you would go south on State Route 7 to the Newport Bridge, go over the bridge, take a left, and you would be north on State Route 2. The school's on the right, just a short distance up State Route 2, and the field is located behind the school. So not that long of a trip. I'm sure that we can expect a big following, as we've been all year. We talk about it lots of times, and as has been the case, we've been having a nice following.
We sure have, and we said I don't think there's any place we go that, whether it be at home or on the road, that we don't have a bigger following than what the opponents do.
Okay, well, can you tell us anything as far as their bleacher situation? I mean,
they have real good seating, Lance, down there, so I don't think it'll be any problem for our fans as far as seating is concerned. And so I think, we'll look for a big crowd. Hopefully that crowd will be pretty vocal and enthusiastic, and give these young men the support they've been giving them all year.
okay. Well, Coach, want to wish you good luck this week. Ball players, want to wish you guys good luck, and fans, we'll see you tomorrow evening at St. Mary's.
All the way up to Michigan, go from the home of the